the aerospace and defense sector is experiencing something we haven't seen in decades. While most investors are laser-focused on the same old defense contractors everyone knows, there's a completely different opportunity emerging right under their noses. We're talking about the convergence of three massive trends that are reshaping how humans and cargo move through the air, how we build infrastructure in space, and how we communicate across vast distances. Companies trading under $10 are positioning themselves at the forefront of electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, space-based manufacturing, and next-generation communication technologies. These aren't speculative science projects anymore. These are businesses with actual contracts, real partnerships with NASA and major corporations, and prototypes that are already flying. The kind of opportunities that could potentially transform a modest investment into something substantial as these industries scale from millions to billions in revenue. Today, we're breaking down three aerospace and defense stocks under $10 that are getting serious attention from investors who understand where this industry is headed, and I'm going to walk you through exactly why the smart money might already be accumulating positions while retail is still sleeping. Let's establish some context here because understanding why now matters is critical to understanding these opportunities. The aerospace and defense industry is undergoing its biggest transformation since the jet age. We're seeing the commercialization of space accelerate at an exponential rate. We're watching urban air mobility transition from concept to reality. We're witnessing the build-out of entirely new infrastructure in orbit that will support everything from advanced communications to manufacturing in microgravity. Meanwhile, defense spending globally continues to increase as geopolitical tensions rise, and nations recognize that technological superiority in aerospace is fundamental to national security. The companies that can provide innovative solutions, whether that's moving people and cargo more efficiently, building and operating infrastructure in space, or enabling next-generation communications, are positioned to capture enormous value. And here's the thing that most people miss. The early stages of massive industry transformations are exactly when life-changing investment opportunities emerge. The stocks that 10x aren't the ones everyone already knows about. They're the ones solving problems that most people don't even realize exist yet. When we talk about stocks under $10, we need to address the elephant in the room. Price per share doesn't tell you anything about valuation or opportunity in isolation. A $10 stock can be overvalued and a $5 stock can be a screaming buy. What matters is the business model, the addressable market, the competitive position, the management team's execution ability, and whether the company has a realistic path to profitability and scale. Lower-priced stocks do offer certain advantages, though. They're more accessible to retail investors who might not have thousands to deploy on single positions. They offer more explosive percentage move potential, and they're often flying under the radar of institutional investors who have minimum price requirements, which means you can get in before the big money arrives. The key is separating legitimate growth opportunities from pump and dump schemes or struggling companies that are cheap for good reason. Our first company is Archer Aviation, trading under the ticker ACHR, and this is one of the most exciting pure plays on the urban air mobility revolution. Archer is developing electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, essentially flying taxis that can transport passengers across cities without needing runways. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Flying cars have been promised forever and never materialized. But here's what's different this time. The technology has finally caught up to the vision. Battery energy density has improved dramatically. Electric motors are more powerful and efficient. Autonomous flight systems leveraging artificial intelligence are becoming reality. And perhaps most importantly, regulatory frameworks are being established specifically for this new category of aircraft. Archer isn't just building cool prototypes. They've got their Midnight aircraft, which is designed to carry 4 passengers plus a pilot for trips of up to 100 miles with back-to-back flights on a single charge. They've already completed transition flights, which is the critical milestone where the aircraft converts from vertical takeoff to forward flight and back. They've announced major partnerships, including a deal with United Airlines that could be worth up to $1 billion for up to 200 aircraft, plus United has invested directly in the company. They've also got a partnership with Stellantis, one of the world's largest automakers, which is providing manufacturing expertise and capital. The U.S. Air Force is working with them on potential defense applications. Their strategy is clear. get certified by the FAA, launch commercial operations in key markets, then scale manufacturing with the help of their automotive partners, who know how to build complex vehicles at high volume and low cost. The total addressable market for urban air mobility is projected to reach hundreds of billions of dollars as it matures. Archer is positioning itself as a leader with first-mover advantage in the U.S. market. They've got the capital runway to reach commercialization, they've got blue-chip partners providing validation and support, and they're hitting technical milestones on schedule. At current prices, you're essentially betting that electric flying taxis will become a real transportation mode in major cities over the next decade. Given what we're seeing in terms of technology maturity and regulatory progress, that's looking increasingly like a when question rather than an if question. The second opportunity we need to examine is Redwire Corporation, ticker RDW, and this company is absolutely critical infrastructure for the space economy. Redwire is a space infrastructure company that designs, builds, and operates systems for space applications. They're not building rockets to get to space. They're building the stuff that makes space useful once you get there. Think deployable solar arrays that power satellites and space stations, roll-out solar arrays that unfurl in space to generate massive amounts of power. They've got technology on the International Space Station right now. They've got the infrastructure to manufacture semiconductors and fiber optics in the microgravity environment of space, which could produce materials with properties impossible to achieve on Earth. They operate facilities that print biological tissues in space, which has applications for drug development and eventually for medicine. They've got digital engineering solutions that help design spacecraft and satellites. The genius of Redwire's business model is that they're diversified across multiple revenue streams within the space sector. They've got commercial customers, NASA contracts, Department of Defense work, and International Space Agency relationships. As the space economy grows, Redwire is positioned to benefit regardless of whether that growth comes from commercial satellite constellations, government space exploration programs, space stations, or entirely new applications we haven't imagined yet. Their recent contract wins have been impressive. They're working on power systems for Gateway, NASA's lunar space station. They've got contracts for the International Space Station. They're providing components for military space systems. The company has been making strategic acquisitions to expand their capabilities, recently bringing in-space manufacturing and digital engineering capabilities under their umbrella. What you're really investing in here is the thesis that the space economy is going to grow exponentially over the next couple decades. We're seeing space transition from a government-only domain to a thriving commercial ecosystem. Satellite internet constellations are being deployed. Plans for commercial space stations are being announced. Nations are committing to return humans to the moon and eventually Mars. All of that requires infrastructure, and Redwire is building it. They've got real revenue right now, not some far-off projection. They've got a backlog of contracted work that provides visibility into future cash flows. And they're operating in a sector where there's more demand for their products and services than they can currently fulfill. The risk, of course, is execution. Space is hard and programs can face delays or cancellations, but with their diversified customer base and critical position in the value chain, Redwire has multiple paths to success. Our third stock is Vision Wave Holdings, ticker VWAV, which is taking a different angle on aerospace and defense through advanced communication technologies. Vision Wave focuses on developing and providing satellite communication systems and related technologies that enable connectivity in remote and challenging environments. In an era where connectivity is fundamental to everything from military operations to commercial applications, Vision Wave is building the infrastructure that keeps people and systems connected regardless of location. Their technology addresses a critical need in both defense and commercial markets. For defense applications, reliable, secure communications in contested or remote environments can be the difference between mission success and failure. For commercial applications, industries like maritime shipping, aviation, energy exploration, and remote operations all depend on satellite communications to function. Vision Wave has been developing antenna systems and communication solutions that offer improved performance, reliability, and cost-effectiveness compared to traditional systems. What's particularly interesting about their approach is the focus on making satellite communications more accessible and affordable, which dramatically expands the addressable market. They're not just targeting the high-end military and government customers, they're also going after commercial enterprises that need reliable connectivity, but have been priced out of traditional solutions. The company has been working on securing partnerships and contracts that validate their technology and provide revenue. They're operating in a market that's experiencing tailwinds from multiple directions. The proliferation of low Earth orbit satellite constellations is making space-based connectivity more viable and affordable. Government defense budgets are prioritizing communications and electronic warfare capabilities. Commercial demand for connectivity in remote locations continues to grow. VisionWave is positioning itself at the intersection of these trends with technology that addresses real pain points in the market. Now, they're earlier in their commercialization journey compared to some competitors, which means higher risk but also higher potential upside if they execute. The key will be converting their technology development into production contracts and scaling revenue. At current valuations, you're getting exposure to the communication infrastructure layer of both the space economy and next-generation defense systems at what could be a very attractive entry point. What connects these three opportunities is their positioning at the frontier of aerospace innovation. Archer is reimagining urban transportation through electric flight. Redwire is building the physical infrastructure that makes space commercially viable. VisionWave is ensuring that systems and people can communicate reliably regardless of location. All three are addressing markets measured in billions or tens of billions of dollars. All three are trading under $10, making them accessible to retail investors, and all three are in sectors where technological progress is accelerating and government and commercial investment is increasing. These aren't your grandfather's aerospace companies. They're the next generation of aerospace innovators, and they're emerging at exactly the right time. Now, let's be very clear about the risks, because I'm not here to pump stocks. I'm here to provide analysis you can use to make informed decisions. These companies are still in growth phases. They're burning cash to develop technology and scale operations. They could face regulatory delays, technical setbacks, or competition from better-funded rivals. Aerospace is a capital-intensive business with long development timelines. Any of these companies could need to raise additional capital through dilutive offerings. They could get acquired before reaching their full potential. Market conditions could turn against growth stocks and high-risk sectors. If you're risk-averse or investing money you need for near-term expenses, these are not appropriate investments. But if you're someone who can tolerate volatility, who understands that some positions in your portfolio should be higher risk, higher reward opportunities, and who believes that aerospace innovation is going to reshape transportation, space infrastructure, and communications over the next decade, then these three stocks under $10 deserve serious consideration. The aerospace and defense sector is entering a new era. The barriers to space are falling. New modes of transportation are taking flight. Communication technologies are enabling capabilities that seemed impossible just years ago. The companies that successfully execute in this environment won't just generate returns for investors, they'll literally change how humanity operates in three-dimensional space. Do your research. Understand what you're buying. Size your positions appropriately for your risk tolerance. But don't dismiss these opportunities just because they're trading under $10. Sometimes the most asymmetric opportunities are hiding in plain sight. That's our breakdown of three compelling aerospace and defense stocks under $10. Stay curious, stay informed, and always invest within your means.